Well, I imagine with all the companies that you work with in a given year that you probably have a favorite. I'll just call it a turnaround story about a company that suffered from low goodwill and was able to change course such that their valuation really increased.
There's a very specific company that I'm thinking of where there was a very high degree of personal goodwill. And after the valuation engagement and subsequent consulting related to that engagement, that they were able to convert it to to enterprise goodwill and were able to sell the business for what they were looking to sell it for. Really short story. It was a beautiful lady. She moved here maybe 40 or so years ago from Mexico, rolled her sleeves up, started a restaurant, and the restaurant became extremely successful. But given that she was not relatively sophisticated with regard to business processes, she knew how to cook. She could absolutely make the best meals in the world, and people came from far and wide to be able to eat at her restaurant. But it was all in her head. All the recipes, all of the everything needed to operate the company or the business, all of it was in her head. And so while her business had a relatively decent value in terms of the overall value of the business, a very disproportionate percentage of that value was in personal goodwill because of how she had run the business. And so we underwent a transformation, rolled her sleeves up, helped create a sort of a operating procedures manual, helped to understand why was it important to have processes in place to hire people if somebody leaves and why it's not necessarily a good thing to just have family members working for you. So we went through all of those things, and at the end of the entire process, which this was a relatively long time to take place, it took for the most part about a year to get this done. But at the end of it all, she was able to sell the business to a very interested buyer who certainly understood the value overall of the business and the fact that we were able to convert her goodwill from personal goodwill to enterprise goodwill meant that she was able to get what she was looking for the business.